I think it would be appropriate just to kind of set the table a little bit and tell you, this is, I'm sorry, is that better? Okay. That this is, we're in the infancy of this process. And it's Boulder Bay's intention and Roger's intention to make sure that we are as responsive to community input as we can be. But the end goal here is to try and create a project that meets the environmental objectives of the community, which is a broad-based community. It's not just residents, it's the regulatory community. And at the end of the day, as Roger indicated, it's the lake. And so we've tried to hear what you've had to say, and we'll continue to have these kinds of meetings to receive public input as we move this process forward. Roger mentioned the Community Enhancement Program, and some of you may be somewhat familiar with that, but I think it might be helpful for those of you that are not for me to just spend a minute talking about that. TRPA has adopted a pilot program. We call it the CEP, the Community Enhancement Program, the purpose of which is to try and get, on a broader scale, larger environmental improvements that will benefit air quality, water quality, scenic quality, the kinds of thresholds that are important to TRPA and to the region generally. That program has 9 projects that have been accepted into the Community Enhancement Program. None of them are approved. They simply are eligible to proceed and hopefully get approved. So to this moment in time, nothing is approved. We have a concept, and we're moving that concept forward. Since November, a really monumental amount of work has been achieved, and we've drastically revised the site plan. We've completed architectural renderings. We've done a lot of work on the water quality, a lot of work on the roadway systems, and we'll talk somewhat about all of that this evening. And earlier this week, we in fact submitted a project application to start the formal process with TRPA. This process is certainly going to be several months. Sometimes these processes take several years. We're hoping that we don't get into that kind of countdown. We have traffic engineers, civil engineers, and we know that a lot of you are concerned about traffic and circulation, and we want to make sure that we can share the information that we have developed through these various studies and the interaction we've had with the various fire folks to make sure that we are on track. So Roger was a little brief in terms of some of his background and experience. I don't know that all of you are familiar with Roger, but Roger is a full-time resident of Incline Village and is on the Board of Trustees at Sierra Nevada College and has had a lifelong commitment to environmental products, including, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, Trex, which is a decking material, and insulation materials, and various other materials that we're not paying lip service in this project to doing the environmental stewardship. We're committed to do a LEED certified project, which is Roger's passion. We're also going to be funding and participating in the undergrounding of the overhead utilities, which are on the other side of Highway 28, which obviously have significant scenic benefits. And then we're going to create these parks and open space areas and pedestrian villages. So, as I mentioned earlier, TRPA has this CEP project enables those projects that are pending before TRPA to potentially receive certain benefits. And most of the projects that have applied are asking for a fair amount of commercial floor area or a substantial amount of additional units of use. Our primary interest is to really relocate the height that's on the highway and try and set it back and create a more aesthetic presentation of the built environment. The application that has been submitted to TRPA will now be reviewed by staff, and a determination will be made as to whether or not it is complete. If you were simply going by weight, it is complete and then some. Having said that, they will get back to us. If there are information in the application that is lacking, we will provide that information. Then TRPA will make a determination as to what level of environmental review will be required. And environmental review in this could range from what under the TRPA rules on the low end of the scale would be a finding of no significant impact, which I would tell you I think is an unlikely outcome, to on the high end of the review process, a full environmental impact statement, which would be publicly circulated and available for comment. That is, at least if that occurs, probably 8 to 12 months out. So there isn't anything that anybody in this room needs to be concerned about in terms of an imminent approval. This project is going to continue to go through a long and arduous process. We are in the process, however, of pursuing a road abandonment, and as some of you are I know, intimately aware, Reservoir Road and Wassel Road curiously bisect this commercial development, and at least based on the review we have done and the consultation we have had with local officials and others, that doesn't seem to be the best circulation opportunity. So we think that what you'll see a little bit later will be an enhancement on that. That circulation opportunity was presented to the Citizens Advisory Board in Incline Village, and at least those folks unanimously concurred that that was a superior solution. And we do have an application for Planning Commission review of the roadway abandonment April 1st in the Washoe County Planning Commission. That would be the equivalent of a conditional approval. We're not going to abandon the roads and perfect the permit and go through the entire mapping process unless and until the project is approved. So in order for us to advance the ball, it of course makes sense to understand whether or not roads are going to be bisecting the site. And we want to get some level of comfort before we get further into the process that we at least have the fundamental circulation system understood. I think I probably